right, so I'm here with David Cornwell, the Director of Business Development over at Hubtran. As a way of getting started, David, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and what Hubtran does.
Sure. Thanks, Michael. Appreciate you having me.
Yeah.
So I'm David Cornwell. I'm the Director of Business Development for Hubtran. I've been with the company now for about 4 or 5 years. Little background on me is I was a broker manager at Echo Global Logistics, worked over on the supply chain end for Mellick Device Company, worked over at Project 44 for a short while, and then moved over to Hubtran in the technology space. So as far as just Hubtran in general and who we are as a company, Hubtran's a revolutionary payables platform. We use OCR and AI to automate and streamline your back office by cutting out just the repeatable and costly operational tasks that your back office is typically doing for any brokerage. And so our goal is to take the incoming emails you receive from your carriers or the factors and eliminate more than 80% of just the manual work that goes into it, right? A lot of keystroking. And what we'll do is when we ingest those documents or those emails into Hubtran is we'll be able to assign the carrier correctly, identify the documents, group the documents, and manage all of those exceptions all in one. So essentially, in a nutshell, what we can do is pass all the settlement information over to 3PL, bring the documents into 3PL within seconds. So you can pay your carriers much quicker, better carrier relationships, simpler tasks. You can manage everything within one portal to do that.
Gotcha. Very cool. Yeah. So for the people listening, you mentioned the term OCR.
Sure.
Can you talk a little bit to that just so that people understand what you mean there?
Yeah, optimal character recognition, which means I like to actually use the example sometimes of Facebook. When you go into Facebook and you look at someone's picture and it can recognize someone's face, they're using OCR to do that, right? We're not as sophisticated as Facebook when it comes to pictures, but we take transportation documents and do that same thing where we scan through those documents and we're able to pick up on bits and pieces of information that are relevant to 3PL. And we match up, certain references to the load ID, or we can find the invoice number off the document. It's something that I usually demonstrate in a 30-minute, conference call.
Got it. So OCR really is just the technology that allows a computer to read the text on a document in there and match it from the data that we're sending from our TMS into the Hubtran portal. Is that accurate?
Exactly. Okay. Well said.
Yep. Awesome. So who's your guys' ideal customer, Dave? Who are you guys going after?
Everyone, anyone in the supply chain who is struggling with manual work, looking for automation, we can help. We'll take on any customer of any size.
Gotcha. Very cool. So all of our customers you think would be people that you guys could help, huh?
Absolutely.
Very cool. So, there are a lot of other people that do this kind of thing, right? A lot of other companies that have similar products. I'm a big fan of Hubtran, as you know. Really, really love your guys' product. In your opinion, what would be your guys' unique value proposition that you can bring to the market that differentiates you guys from your competitors?
Sure. That goes back to the OCR and the AI. No other company is really kind of combining those two things. We have a fantastic network effect of bringing in not just brokerages, but factoring companies as well. So a lot of the same paperwork, if you're using factoring companies, we are able to take a lot of those documents, which we've already processed over 500 million. We're able to recognize which documents are what. And that's something right now, if you look at other companies, they don't have the type of metrics and surroundings and data that Hubtran is able to give back to a company. And furthermore, our biggest value proposition is we have found through numerous case studies that one employee usually handles about 50 to 75 invoices in a day. And then after you begin using Hubtran, we can increase that by 3 or 4x. So a 3 or 4x productivity rate, which means all of a sudden that person that's doing 50 in a day can do 200 invoices. And that's a major time saver, right? If you're looking to scale up and you don't want to hire another employee, that's exactly why you bring in Hubtran. We're going to help with those costs. Or if you need to repurpose what you're doing today, you have too many people in those roles. We can then tell you, hey, maybe there's something else that's super valuable to the company, like let's say collections. So you can kind of invest your people into those roles and pivot a bit. So I would say the biggest thing right now that's happening in our industry is we're moving to more of a digital world where companies are investing heavily into automation. And that's exactly what we've created here at Hubtran. So we save customers thousands of hours of just kind of wasted time a year. And as everyone knows, time is money.
Sure, absolutely. So you mentioned a little bit about the amount of documents that you guys have processed through the system. And I think it's probably worth talking about how your guys' system gets smarter the more documents it processes. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So that goes back to the machine learning. When a user goes into Hubtran, we are going to get to the point of accuracy where it's usually in the low 90s where we're matching up on the documents correctly. But as these brokers begin using Hubtran, the more they click on things and use the platform, the smarter, more intelligent Hubtran becomes, and then understands your brokerage, right? What you may call an internal document, somebody else calls a bill of lading. Sure. And you can change those document types within, I would say, 3 or 4 clicks. We'll begin understanding that that is what ABC brokerage calls a bill of lading, for example. So awesome. It always is getting smarter.
Awesome. Very, very cool. So I wanted to take a second to talk a little bit about the improvements that we've made to the integration on our end. As you know, obviously, we've had the integration now for almost a year, I think. We started testing it with our first client.
Definitely over a year. Yeah, I think we're over the year mark now.
Yeah, so there were definitely some kinks that we needed to work out, and we've worked very closely with your team to improve that customer experience for 3PL clients. One of the biggest things that we've done is we expanded the data set of information that gets sent over to Hubtran. So things like PO numbers and all these other random little data points that may be important to matching up a document and increasing the validation, we've expanded that data set that gets sent over to Hubtran. So that's one of the big things we've done. We've also added 2 new defaults to the integration. The first one being for creating a quick pay accessorial. So if a carrier is noted as a quick pay carrier inside of 3PL systems, we are passing that data point over to Hubtran now. And if there is an invoice that comes in from a carrier that is off of what the expected cost is inside of 3PL systems, and that carrier is denoted as a quick pay carrier, Hubtran's going to recognize that. And when it pushes the approved invoice back into 3PL, it's actually going to add that quick pay accessorial because it's going to know the reason this is off is because this carrier got quick pay, and that percentage gets taken off and added as a line item. And it's essentially a negative value that gets added into 3PL. So prior to that improvement, our clients would have to go into 3PL, add a line item for quick pay with that line item being negative, send it back over to Hubtran, and then it would match up on the difference. And so we've removed a lot of clicks there, which I think our clients will like quite a bit. The other default that we've added is for our clients to be able to either override the pro number in our system or not override the pro number in our system with the invoice number that Hubtran identifies on the documents. And this really depends on if you're moving truckload shipments or if you're moving LTL shipments and which one of those are being processed inside of Hubtran. For LTL shipments, obviously the pro number and the invoice number are essentially the same thing. But for truckload, it's going to be a little bit different. And a lot of people like to retain the pro number and the invoice number. So anyways, there's just a lot more flexibility there now. And then the other big thing that I wanted to mention is for multi-carrier shipments. So prior to the enhancements that we made, Hubtran was only able to identify the primary carrier from 3PL systems, and that was not Hubtran's fault. I don't want to put that on you guys. We were only passing the primary carrier on a load. So if there were separate line items, let's say there was an insurance provider or even like a truck order not used or anything for that matter, we're now able to pass that through on a line item level. so that multiple carrier shipments can be processed through Hubtran instead of just a primary carrier on the load. So long roundabout way of saying the integration's better. We improved it. There may have been some frustrations early on, as with any integration when it's new, and we've really worked to improve that experience for our clients. And you guys obviously, as always, have been great doing that with us. So back to you though. So, hey, how long does it take you guys to train people to use Hubtran, and how long does it take you guys to get integrated with us?
It's super, super fast. I'll start with the integration. All we need is a support ticket sent over to 3PL saying we'd like to set up Hubtran, and then goes over to your support team. Usually they come back and email and let the customer know, the brokerage know that, hey, it's going to take less than 5 days to set this up. Honestly, I've seen you guys move even quicker than that. I've seen you guys move in less than 48 hours. So
Sure.
I would say you guys are one of the fastest integrations as far as our partners go. And then as far as training, very simple. We take training very seriously, and we want to make sure everybody's comfortable with the system before they go live. So we set them up in that sandbox. We will do a quick 15-minute training session, take one invoice or two invoices and see how it looks in 3PL, make sure everything's covered there. And then we set up a 2-hour training session, and it's really, really easy to just go live that same day or the next day. We have most of our customers just say, this is fantastic, I'm ready to roll, let's start using this. And they never go back to the old way of processing.
Awesome. Yeah. Very cool.
I did want to ask you though, how much does it cost to integrate?
So it's free on our end. We don't charge anything for the integration. That is all handled between you guys and our clients if they decide to get set up with you. But as you mentioned, we turn on the integration today, get you using it tomorrow inside of our system, and we're not going to charge you any extra from the 3PL side. So it's really kind of a no loss proposition, in my opinion, right? Turn on Hubtran. I think you and I share the same opinion. Once they see what you guys are doing, we know they're going to love it. Personally speaking, and for the rest of us, whenever we're talking to the marketplace about the Hubtran 3PL integration, it's just really exciting. And I personally tell people, hey, I don't work for Hubtran, but I love their product. I promise you I love their product. I sell it like I work for you guys, even though I don't. So, hey, so I know you guys are always working on cool stuff over there, Dave, and I'm sure you guys have, some awesome stuff planned for the future. What can we expect from Hubtran in the coming months and years?
I'm glad you asked. We have a really revolutionary product that is going to change up the marketplace a bit. It's called Lights Out Processing. We call it LOP for short.
Okay.
And what that can do is it can take the incoming emails that typically don't have any exceptions, and we can send that into 3PL without a human touch. So think of it almost like an API. I'm sure some of these brokers listening are familiar with EDI, but you can take those documents, settle it within 3PL, bring the documents into the correct folders, and it doesn't require any human touch. So, imagine having, let's call it 100 invoices a day. And if we can handle 50% of that, that's a massive game changer and a huge time saver. So we're going to be presenting a webinar tomorrow at 2 Eastern. And I can send the recording to anyone that's interested to learn more about that. But it's going to be something that we bring out to really all brokerages that are looking for more automation. So that's pretty exciting stuff.
Awesome. Hey, so David, how do people get a hold of you if they want to hear more and see what you guys can do for them?
Yeah, sure. So my email is dcornwell@hubtran.com, and my cell phone number is 630-346-6506. I'm sure, Mike, you can shoot them that information, but I'm available anytime. We'll put something on the calendar. I can go through either 15-minute intro call or a 30-minute just demo to see how it works. Sure. And usually once the customer checks out Hubtran, again, it's going to be no risk. So if you're interested in just seeing your own data and your own documents, setting up a sandbox, it's free.
Sure. Awesome. Hey, Dave, I appreciate the time. Thank you again, and we'll be in touch, okay?
Awesome. Thanks,
All
Mike.
right, buddy. Take care.
See ya.